was the doorway to heaven, men said, for our people to come and go. And I always respected that place for.
When my mum and all her brothers and sisters, they used to walk from like the mission down to Saltwater. So they had all their own tracks going all over the place and end up at Saltwater.
Well, it's different to what when we went down there years ago. And that's when, what's the name, took over? Parks and Wildlife, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
When we first went down there, it wasn't all like it is now. They had to cut it to get in.
We used to go down the big truck and Purfleet, all the families.
Saltwater. I think one of the first times I remember going out there was in this awesome sulky. Went through the bush. And grandfather used to go down and build a hut down there. Fireplace and all in a day. I'd be walking around Saltwater. I felt like the king of Saltwater. And no white fellas allowed out there. Only Aboriginal from early days.
So every family had their own place because to stop the arguments and fighting, like not now when they go down there, they'll just get there to the best spots and put their tents up. Nah, that look back in them days. The Bogies there, the Saunderses, the Clarks and Simons. The elders said, right, see that tree over there? That's the Simon tree. That's the Bungie tree. That's the Saunders. And that's where you had a camp.
At night, we wasn't allowed to go out, but we snuck under the tents and went down into the lagoon. And go swimming. Oh, go swimming and just sit there and be kids.
We pitch up every year. They let us go there. School holidays we're allowed to, and we still camp there today. And I don't think it in the swamp.
We used to be camped right up on the point there. We'd go down to the water. That's where we used to camp. And that was good. They had the big fires where they cooked the dampers and...
Up until 2 years ago, saltwater, to swim in saltwater. And I went with my social support worker out there to saltwater and we decided to have a swim this day. And I went into the water and my experience was absolutely beautiful. It felt like I was baptised for the first time in my life. And I felt spirits hands all over my body, and when I walked out of that water I could feel that I was a new person. I knew I had to begin a new path for me.
I learned to swim there as a kid growing up, but I wasn't allowed to go over to the beach until my elders told me I could. My age fellas were swimming in the lake there, and we'd look up around, see if no elders was looking, and we'd try and sneak over towards the beach. We'd hear all the other fellas was catching waves. And as soon as we'd get so far, you'd hear this, hey, where are you going? Get back here. You know you can't swim properly yet. I'll flog you if you go over there. So we'd go back and swim in the lake. But you kept doing that there until one day you never heard that whistle. And when you never heard that whistle, you knew you were okay to go over. And then we would run, then go over and swim in the beach.
It's lovely to just able to go and play in that and played around the lagoon. Come back there and your parents were there waiting for you to give you feed.
Just swimming and mucking around. Yeah, used to walk from Saltwater to Red End. Yeah, and then back. It's going back years ago. Couldn't do it now.
We used to go and get our crabs, pippies. Even though we walked a distance, we were pretty good because our grands were there, and you know when you're talking, you don't worry about the distance. But especially at Saltwater, you got to walk a couple of k's to get to pippies. And back in the day, there were different tribes that actually come there for the mullet run. Well, it happens every December, January. So they actually come to Saltwater to take that herd down to the upper hills. And that mullet run still happens today.
I love fishing, and Gordon McDonald, he put bait on the line for me, and I was throwing my line out, and Gordon said, oh, you probably got a fish there, aren't you? As I was pulling it in, and you could hear the tugging, you know, on the line. I thought, oh, I might have got a big fish here, but all I got was a puff of fish. Felt like it was like a big fish, yeah. Oh, we just all laughed and had fun.
And how do you catch abalone at Saltwater?
Oh, low tide, lift under the rocks, get a knife or a screwdriver, get it up the rock, loose like conchs. I prepare to boil them, I put them on the fire, taste a lot better.
We made our fishing lines, we didn't have rods, so you buy a line and you put it either on a tin, so and then throw it out with a hook and sinker and hopefully you get a fish. Then you have to run in the water and get your hook and the tin and whatever else. But like I said, after time, whatever you rolled it on went with it.
We'd get there and we didn't have fishing line, you know, rods and all that. We'd just tie it up on a Coke can, roll it up and then get it all laid out, put the towel down on the ground so that when you got to throw it, you'd be there throwing it back and around and around and around as fast as you can. Well, my mother and my sister used to get that big of a wind-up. We'd be there at the back of them trying to get them away because they'd be swinging it like this. And then they'd have this big sinker on it and throw the line out. And then on the towel would be where the line would be laying. So you had to make sure that us little fellas didn't get our foot stuck in the line all the time. Otherwise we'd be going out with it.
Every weekend I grab my surfboard and I go down there and I pull up at the car park there and I walk all the way out to what little special rock I call jump rock, and then I jump off it and I go and catch a wave. Way back I used to hear that same jump rock they used to go fishing off there, and that's where they used to catch a lot of snapper, and especially when the big seas come in.
Every year we'd get the black apples and we would mark our clothes by sticking a needle pin through the material into the apple and we'd put our names on our clothing.
But the most important part about saltwater is every family would have their special dishes that they'd make, and there'd be a competition between all the families who made the best pudding, because puddings were made with dripping and the plums and the flour, and my dad was quite a good cook, and they used to make the custard out of condensed milk and just with the powder and sugar, and they didn't have to boil it on the stove. They just used the boiling hot water and just stirred it until it thickened itself.
Saltwater. I call it Biripi. That's the name of the place in our language, and it's always been a special place to us.
My sister Sharon, she delivered a baby, first one in 100 years, under the special tree at Saltwater.
Well, Mum and Dad, they had a special tree down there. And on this special tree, what do? They just loved them. When Parks and Wildlife took over Saltwater, they cut the tree down. Well, Mum was so heartbroken. That's my tree, that's Horace and I's tree out there. They cut that tree. Oh, she was real heartbroken over that.
I remember my nephews had a car, they're a lot older than what I am, and they used to get all the family together and just take us down Christmas time when all the families would be down there. We just have a good day as kids, just swimming around and just away from everything, just having fun.
As kids, we never were hungry. We were just enjoyed our time with the family and just being in the water.
I got bitten by a big bull, and my grandfather, to take the pain away, he put 2 sticks and crossed them, and he just tapped them and started singing in the lingo, and all of a sudden I forgot about the pain because the repetition of this tapping and the music just took the pain away.
Saltwater's always been a special place for our Aboriginal community. It's a good training place, it's a meeting place for our tribe, a place that provides that shelter and food for our people.
Been going to Saltwater virtually from the day I was born. We're always just, most weekends we'd be out there. Every time I go to Saltwater, I go out there quite a bit. You know, those big white-bellied sea eagles. Every time I go out, he seems to fall in there ring up. He'd be there for hours, he'd be going round. Everybody's like, someone's watching over me, making sure I'm all right. I feel like I'm home.
My grandfather told me that Saltwater is the ending for our elders to come and go whenever they please. So anytime you want to communicate, come down here.
And like I said, Saltwater still remains our paradise.
That's the only beach we ever went to, you know, Saltwater. And all of us from Purfleet went there.
Saltwater being a big traditional place, our people, I know our people are there, our ancestors, and we was always looked after down there, and you can feel it. As soon as you get down there, you feel that sense of, you know, welcome. You're welcome, my little sister, my little brothers. We look after you.
It is a beautiful place, and there's women that have been able to have natural births out there as well, which is amazing.
When I did come home to country, I had a really strong connection to Saltwater.
My name is Donald Noakes. I was in a boys' home up in Katoomba, and one of the men out there I was in home with, and his name is Richard. Yes.
And do you keep in touch with Richard now?
All the time. And we said we're just like brothers.
Yeah.
So I've been dancing and clapping sticks and that with the Biripi mob for the last 4 or 5 years, loving every minute of it. And it's on my heart to actually empower some of it and the teachings to some of the youth here. I just love it. You know, it's great. There's so much to learn here, and there's so much that can be shown and taught to the younger generations.
For the cameras.